we are the ones that wanna play, always wanna go, but you never wanna stay. And we are the ones that wanna choose, always wanna play, but you never wanna lose.
Hello, everyone. Hold on, I'm crooked. Am I still? Okay, now I think.
It's all relative. What is crooked?
It's exactly. We're all crooked.
The people watching you are crooked. No, I'm just
and
kidding.
That's why I love
Our viewers
them.
are great. Our viewers are great. I'm just joking. Not trying.
Ooh, we have some awesome people already.
We have
Can
some
you read
people
who
in the chats.
you've got?
Hello, hello, hello. Good
Read out
vibes.
the names. I can't.
Darren Harrison says, "Hi, Joy and Andrew. Good vibes. I'm happy to be here for the very first time." Oh, wow, the pressure is on. We gotta be good now. Force the primary.
No, but I think I'm pretty sure they were on my my spaces on Twitter last night though. So they already know I'm adorable. It's you.
Fuck, I gotta
win them back.
The white dudes gotta prove themselves.
Yep.
We always gotta prove ourselves. You know, there's always
yep.
all this societal pressure on us.
Yep. So, okay. Who else we got?
Well, we got. Hold on. My computer kind of just did a little like, oh, I'm going to be annoying.
Okay, I see Lucky's Abby. I see Vegan Succubus, my girl Elizabeth. I see Neo. Thank you for tuning in, Neo.
Wait, Akron's teacher strike busted? That doesn't sound good, Samwise.
Uh-oh.
Care to say more?
Is there an update? Shit.
Yeah.
Well, let's Google that before we do that one. That makes me worried because that was a big one, like almost 9,000 years. Oh.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, the nurses, yeah, Akron teachers. This is, I think, an Akron. There's a lot of teachers striking right now, by the way. There's a lot of strikes going on with teachers, at least in Massachusetts that's going on. I don't know what's going on in Pennsylvania, but yeah, there's a lot.
Kentucky, we don't really get that active. I mean, we do, but, you know, a lot of Pennsylvanians are kind of like shit-libby and sit on their ass.
That's unfortunate.
I usually have to, if I'm not organizing my own stuff, I usually have to go to Philly. But what has been up with you? Any exciting news?
I wouldn't say there's too much exciting news going on. Definitely some, new year, some changes doing, but not really, nothing really too exciting right now. I've been a little.
You noticed I got my hair did.
What?
You noticed I got my hair did.
Yes, and that's coming from someone that's partially colorblind. So that's great. That it's good that I noticed because I don't notice shit like that.
My husband goes, "Don't dye it red. I love purple the best." I was like, I haven't had it purple in months. This is not purple. This is turquoise. And he's like, well, it looks purple. And I'm like, dude, you don't even fucking pay attention to me. Dude, I love it purple.
What? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Joy comes on the stream before we go live, and I'm just like, your hair's the color's changed. It's red
He's like,
now.
your hair is red. Yes, it is. But as a typical straight white man, he didn't say I like it or it looks nice. He just said your hair is red. That is correct. I can't see the comments, but okay, so I have an announcement.
Yes,
that
it's really red. Lucky says it's really red. Yes, it is really red.
Really red.
It is really red. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you first do it, it's like, whew, and then after like one or two washes, it's like, okay, now what? It's like gone. So I want to announce something. I don't know if announce is the right word, but I've been thinking about doing something for weeks. And I've been wrestling with it, and I'm like, I know I'm going to get so much pushback, but I'm just going to break it here. I decided to get a blue check, and here's why. So, and I know I'm going to get like so much shit for this, but here's the thing. People keep DMing me. They're not seeing my posts. I've been shadow banned for over 2 months. If you go through, I have 25,000 followers. And if you go through my Twitter, there's some posts with no likes, 1 like, 2 like. Well, it's never happened to me until the past 2 months. So I'm like, all right, let me fucking try this. Let's see if these twat waffles are going to like at least make this better if I fucking pay $8 a month and get a blue check. And I'm like, there are people with like 50 followers who have a blue check, so I shouldn't really care. But I'm waiting for people to be like, whatever, you're a fucking sellout. But honestly, like when people are telling me I'm not seeing links to your show, that's a problem to me. And I'm like, why am I doing this if, you know, so many people aren't even getting the notifications? So I'm going to try it. I swallowed my pride. I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't help me out, then, you know, it's getting the boot. But I'm going to try it. Dun, dun, dun. So I may have to get savage with some people who, you know, don't understand why. I could have applied for a blue check a few years ago when I published my book, but I didn't. I was like, whatever, I don't fucking care. But now that it's affecting, you know, who's seeing my posts and shit, now I'm like, okay, I need to try this to see if it'll help in some way. But anyway, yeah, so it's truth. Anyway, now that I have that off my chesticles, Andrew, what is first tonight?
So, first tonight is New York City. Crime, terrible crime. No, I'm just kidding. 7,000 nurses are on strike right now. So give me 1 second, just going to come in. So originally there were going to be, I think, around 9,000 from other different hospitals, but some of the hospitals in the area recently reached an agreement. So now we have nurses at 2 of New York City's largest hospitals walked off the job Monday in a dispute over pay and staffing levels after a weekend of negotiations failed to produce deals for new contracts, with talks falling apart overnight. The walkouts began at 6 a.m. this morning and involves as many as 3,600 nurses at Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan and 3,500 at Montefiore Medical Center in the Bronx. Let's get this out of here. The New York State Nurses Association, which represents the workers, said it was being forced into the drastic step because of chronic understaffing that leaves nurses caring for too many patients. Nurses don't want to strike. Bosses have pushed us to strike by refusing to seriously consider our proposals to address the desperate crisis of unsafe staffing that harms our patients, the union said in a statement late Sunday. At around the time the strikes began, the union tweeted a message saying, "To all of our patients, to all New Yorkers, we want to be absolutely clear. If you are sick, please do not delay getting medical care, regardless of whether we are on strike. In fact, we invite you to come join us on the strike line after you've gotten the care you need, adding that seeking care wouldn't constitute crossing the picket lines. And then, and then, of course, Kathy Hochul urged the union and the hospitals late Sunday to take their dispute to binding arbitration. The unions didn't immediately accept so basically, okay,
So
we
if you
remain
guys,
committed. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. If you guys saw our show last week, Kathy Hochul, whatever the balls her name is, she's the one that unions like ran to endorse. And after she won last week, she appointed a Republican union busting judge, and yeah, who is union busting and has a history of union busting, and just appointed them. So yeah, chances are she wasn't really going to be that supportive of this.
Yes. So par for the course. And so nurses at some of these surrounding hospitals that almost went on strike, they were given a raise of 7%, 6%, and 5% over the next 3 years, while also increasing staffing levels. It covers 4,000 nurses. So these negotiations will continue. And I think so. One thing I wanted to share real quick as well is where some of these strikes will be taking place. If anybody who is watching is in the New York area. So here, let me just click it once more. So right here we have join nurses on the picket line as we strike for a fair contract. So Montefiore Moses, 111 East 210th Street, Bronx. Montefiore Wheeler, 825 East Chester Road, Bronx. Montefiore Hutch, 1250 Walters Plaza, Bronx. And then 4 Mount Sinai Hospital, 1 Gustave Leve Plaza, Madison, and 99th, New York. So that has started right now. And yeah, hopefully they get their deal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're really going to learn a lot about hospitals. How long do they want their, what's that?
Yeah, no, Lucky said there is a slight echo, and I did kind of hear that a little bit. I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't know if it's from you. I was hearing a little bit too from my end, so yeah.
Oh, they're, hospitals, since they are for profit, even when they're nonprofit, they are for profit.
Yep.
And you're going to see that for sure when you're going to see patients who are going to wait longer in line because these nurses are on strike, as they deserve to be. But you are going to see longer lines and things like that. And you're going to see real quick, is the hospital willing to oblige these nurses so that they can get back to caring for their patients? Or are they just going to let people suffer? You're going to see, there's going to be bargaining first. It's going to be, well, maybe not like a 10% raise, but maybe like a 1% raise. And then they're gonna try to get them to cave, because that's always what happens.
Yeah. So, but that is a lot of nurses, and it just reminds me. And this happened. This was maybe a little less than a year ago now. I'm not exactly sure, but there was like a strike that lasted for months and months on end.
Oh yeah,
a nursing strike.
Wasn't that Chicago?
Mass. It was Central Mass.
Oh, yeah. I remember we covered that.
Yeah. And so it's always great to see when nurses go on strike. And I love, too, how they immediately just said, I'm not saying if you need care, don't go in there, right?
Absolutely.
Because, of course, the bosses are going to try and put the patients and the nurses against each other.
Of course.
And so, yeah, great that they said that off the bat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I know there's been a lot, Kevin McCarthy had a little bit of a hard time getting to become the speaker. Man, that's so
Michael Ian
embarrassing
Black
for
said,
him.
congrats on his quinceañera. And it almost made me pee my pants because that's amazing.
I'm sorry, who said, wait, what was that?
Michael Ian Black. He said, congrats to Kevin McCarthy on his quinceañera. You know what that is?
Yeah.
It kind of almost made me pee. I laughed so freaking hard. Yeah.
So do you want me to play Matt Orfalia's video?
Yes. I've had
Cool.
Matt on the show. Don't always agree with him on stuff,
No,
but
neither do I. But
what's
he
that?
can make good I don't agree with him either all the time, but I can't deny he knows how to make some good videos.
He made this video. If you don't know anything about Force the Vote, or if you're against Force the Vote, get Jimmy Dore out of your fucking mind for 5 seconds. Stop paying attention to the shiny object and watch this video and think about it, and think about all you say you stand for and all you say you fight for, and watch this video and think about it in the perspective of actual healthcare, because that's what it's about.
We can't even get a floor vote on Medicare for all.
That's garbage. You can do it right now. We need the Democrats.
Jimmy.
We need the elected officials that you helped get elected to tell Nancy Pelosi that you will not vote for her as speaker unless Medicare for all is put on the House floor for a vote.
I think it's a really smart idea.
You know, the worst abuse of power, Crystal, is not using the power you have to fight for people.
Will they? Time to let AOC know they have no other option, because we're watching and we see through their bullshit excuses.
We have to put public pressure on them.
I want to see who's going to vote against healthcare in the middle of a pandemic. If you're not going to do it now, you are never going to do it, you phony.
All the people who filled up your voicemail, they're going to remember whether you did the right thing here.
Which side are they really on? This is where you force progressive House members to reveal who they answer to. Do they answer to their constituents, or do they answer to the party bosses? Listen to AOC's own words.
The Democratic Party does not do more unless it is pushed.
And so this moment is the great unmasking.
Force it to happen.
Ask them, are you fighters or are you careerists? Are you activists for the people, or are you posers on Twitter?
Everyone's going to try to tell you that if you're just a little bit nicer, then it'll be fine. No.
The whole point of protesting is to make people uncomfortable. You got to make them uncomfortable. She's pretending to be part of a movement when she's really running cover for Nancy Pelosi. Did you think anybody voted for you so you could vote Nancy Pelosi without getting them anything? This is Medicare for all. People's actual lives depend on us doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, it's to actually use your leverage. Will you?
Take risks.
Or will you be a party fucking climber?
Start bringing the ruckus on the Democratic Party. Force it to happen. Do not trust any political party to automatically work in your interest.
I call on everybody in independent media to join this mission.
Force it to happen.
Force the Congress to show which side are they really on. No vote for Nancy Pelosi unless Medicare for all is put on the House floor for a vote.
So we need to push them.
What, as so-called leftists, is wrong with this video, except the fact that you get a fucking boner every time you freak out about Jimmy Dore? Like, what is wrong with that video? Nothing. It says, it uses their own words. We're going to fight for you, and you need to stand up to the Dems and this and that. They did not have the balls to stand up to Pelosi, who disrespects them, makes fun of them, belittles them, and treats them like utter trash. And they didn't have the balls to say, hey, guess what? We're gonna vote for you next time, which literally was still going to be the same day, mind you. It would have just been in a second round. So, and people are like, oh, Medicare for all wouldn't have passed anyway. We never said it was going to. The entire point of Force the Vote was to get that shit on record. Who supports it, who doesn't support it, and hold them all accountable. That is what it was about. But it's so easy to obfuscate and be like, well, it wasn't going to pass anyway. Well, you know what? Hell no, it's not going to pass when we have these weak people who can't even stick to what they say they're going to do. So the fact that so-called leftists are like, don't be hateful towards the squad, it's not about being hateful. It's about holding them accountable. Why aren't you pissed you gave these people donations and made phone calls and knocked on doors for them when they showed you they are straight up fake? Fake. Why do you call out people like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden when they're fake, but you can't call out the squad? This is hero worship. It's gross. What absolves them from criticism? To me, not a damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's pretty clear who the squad is, and I think we talk about it, and it sort of comes in a loop. I think one of the things, though, I want to talk a little bit about what happened with the Republicans and Kevin McCarthy, right? And how they did force the vote, and a lot of it was for bullshit reasons. But I think the whole principle of withholding your vote until you get what you want, there is nothing fundamentally wrong with that. The reasoning might be scary and bullshit because, let's face it, like Jim Jordan, not going to fuck with Jim Jordan, right? And Matt Gaetz and that whole group of people. But, I think someone mentioned that is fundamental democracy, right? Working out from someone who is arguably the most powerful person of that party that is not in the executive branch right now, working out concessions that you can get from them. And now they literally are able to, if one person can actually vote to then have a vote to then remove Kevin McCarthy from speaker if they're not happy with them, it literally takes one Republican to then get a whole vote to happen from that. That is, and so that is, I mean, and they're saying that's like, he's like the weakest speaker now in terms of power because of that. And that right there should be something that we should be aiming towards for the Democrats to do, because they would have never done that with Nancy Pelosi. But here we are, Nancy Pelosi having all this power now because they were willing to actually pressure the person in power. He now, Kevin McCarthy, has less power. And so
there are two things that are absolute, regardless which politician, regardless which party. Number one, people only do what you let them do. And number two, use your leverage. Politicians will never do shit for you unless you have leverage. Don't elect them and think they're going to do shit. They already got your vote. Don't vote for them and think they're going to do shit. They already got your vote. I mean, these two things are absolutely tangible, ironclad things that are absolute. There are no exceptions. These two things. And if people don't fucking realize that by now, I don't know if they can ever be saved, honestly. I think they're just so full of cognitive dissonance and just blatant shit libbery at this point that they may truthfully be too far gone.
Yeah. I don't know. So that's really all. Yeah.
Don't forget the two videos, though.
Oh, I guess I did. Which ones?
Don't forget those. Hakeem.
Oh, yeah. I was going to go to Hakeem. That's the next topic, right?
Oh, I thought we were working it all in.
All right.
Working it.
Because, yeah, this was their second topic, right? Am I missing a topic? We'll see. But let's bring up Hakeem. Let's bring up the king.
Put American values over autocracy, benevolence over bigotry, the Constitution over the cult, democracy over demagogues, economic opportunity over extremism, freedom over fascism, governing over gaslighting, hopefulness over hatred, inclusion over isolation, justice over judicial overreach, knowledge over kangaroo courts, liberty over limitation, maturity over Mar-a-Lago, normalcy over negativity, opportunity over obstruction,
It's got rhythm.
people over politics, quality of life issues over QAnon, reason over racism, substance over slander, triumph over tyranny, understanding over ugliness, voting rights over voter suppression, working families over the well-connected, xenial over xenophobia, yes we can over you can't do it, and zealous representation over zero-sum confrontation. We will always do the right thing.
These going to be his speeches for the next couple years. Like,
Yo, legit, I was getting down, but that song sucks. That song sucks. Okay, so, like, he is the epitome of every single thing he talked about. Like, people over platitudes. Wait, what? Wait, what? Did you literally write these words thinking about yourself? Like, you can throw in words like Mar-a-Lago and yeah. Like, okay, dude, you're a bot. You're a corporate tool, too. That was so, like, show the next one, and then we'll get into what we were saying before we started.
which next one?
There's the other one of his actual speech.
Oh, all right. Let me find it. It's in the DM.
Yeah. Should
All
be
right,
right next
cool.
to this one.
All right. I'll look for it. Give me 1 second.
So, Andrew and I were talking before we started and just laughing about how it was so hilarious the way that dude did not want to pass that gavel. He was just dragging that shit out.
No.
He was like, it was like he was still campaigning because he just kept going. And I was waiting for the Republicans to just be like, Jerry Springer at some point and just being like, pass the gavel, because it was just, I've never seen such a delay. Looks like a super chat.
I was saying this before too. Like,
can you read the super chat? I can't read it, Andrew.
All right, I have to go back now to read it because I was things. Jeffrey's against extremism and xenophobia unless it's Israeli free Palestine. That's what he said. Yeah,
spot on. And thank you for the Real Progressives super chat. That's awesome. I'm sure they will be thrilled. Oh, you got the other video up?
Well,
now try not to be extra inspired.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, here we go. This song sucks.
I couldn't help it.
We are Christian, we are Jewish, we are Muslim,
I'm going to go back to the start.
We are white, we are black, we are Latino, we are Asian, we are Native American, we are Christian, we are Jewish, we are Muslim, we are Hindu, we are religious, we are secular, we are gay, we are straight, we are young, we are older, we are women, we are...
I fucked up, sorry.
Here, I'll send it to you again. Sorry, guys. It's worth the wait, trust me.
We will get the correct video.
Dude, it's literally right next to it. Here.
Well, I suck. Sorry, Savage. I suck. I can't.
Admitting is the first step, boo.
Right.
There you go.
All right. Back on there. So, this song. Okay. You just sent it?
This is a slow song.
That's
That
the
was
same
a
song. That's the same song. The same song I played.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you just sent me the same damn song.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I fucking did.
Yeah, that song. We are
No,
white. We are
no.
Values over autocracy.
Oh, yeah, it's just a longer version. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
maybe
we are
people want to hear
Hakeem
it now.
Jeffries out. Yeah, I think we have just
Sorry, I
witnessed
know
everything.
you guys are like, another one.
I
Yes,
think we have
another
witnessed
one.
everything that person has ever said now.
What's that?
I think we have just witnessed everything he has ever said now. I think we got it all down.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Valid. So what do
All
we
right.
have on our next
well,
topic for
let
the
me
agenda?
resituate myself now because I've been on a
Sorry.
Hakeem Jeffries investigation.
I just
All
wanted
right.
people to get really excited because, like, it's Hakeem Jeffries.
I mean, we should get excited. We could get excited. So, I want to bring up a little bit about how liberals can liberalize everything, right? And kind of ignore past things that certain companies have done if they just kind of virtue signal. So, you may remember we talked about that earlier this year. That which is in charge of which creates is a company that Skittles, right? That it creates Skittles, or I shouldn't say that sells Skittles, had a lot of toxins, TiO2 toxins. There have been lawsuits against Skittles for having toxins in their food that the EU has actually made illegal and other countries have made illegal. But of course, the United States didn't make it illegal. And so, in order to hope that people forget about some of the, that they basically are poisoning their food for people, don't worry though. Mars releasing packs of an all-female M&Ms, right? Mars has announced the release of its first ever packs of all-female M&Ms. The candy company said the packages celebrate women everywhere who are flipping the status quo. Mars said the limited edition M&M packs will feature its female characters, purple, brown, and green, on inspirational packaging. The packs will be the first united representation of the female trio spokes candies, according to Mars. The M&M packs will begin released in January ahead of International Women's Day in March. The M&M brand is on a mission to use the power of fun to create purposeful connection. We work to create a world where everyone feels they belong. Women all over the world are flipping how they define success and happiness while challenging the status quo. So we're thrilled to be able to recognize and celebrate them. And who better to help us on that mission than our own powerhouse Spokies candies, green, brown, and purple. And so, yeah.
What better way? I agree. I mean, as a female non-M&M, like I feel like they understand me. I definitely do. But isn't eating them kind of like cannibalistic then? Like, I didn't realize they had genders. I thought it was candy, but apparently they're people?
I guess I never really knew. I mean, hey, whatever you want to make. I mean, I have no problem. This is, I think, just an example of just like corporations using feminism to try and show that they are good, even though what they're fundamentally doing is terrible. Like
as a woman, I'm actually more offended that they did this than didn't do anything at all. You know what I mean? Like, this is not like winning me over at all.
And then this is just a reminder, right? So this was from earlier in 2022. Skittles lawsuit claims the popular candy is unfit for human consumption. Mars creates Skittles. They are the brand behind Skittles. So this is from July 22nd, 2022. And, you know, I think one of the things that just, I think, pisses me off is that these types of, I mean, this is not just in Skittles. This happens everywhere where you have unknown toxins in these foods. You don't even know what's in them. And they are destroying so many people's health without them even noticing it, right? Like, I'm not a doctor, right? So I'm, I'm not going to, this is just some of this is speculation, but I really don't think cake and cookies is what is giving people a lot of health problems, right? Because people know, even the people who are, say, maybe the least quote unquote disciplined people who eat, right? They all know, okay, you got to put a cap on cookies, cake, because it's at least very blatant that it's not the most healthy thing. But when you have all these different canned goods, when you start putting all this shit in soup, when you start putting all this shit in things that are supposed to be meals that you don't even know about it, and then you add to the fact that there are these fucking food deserts and people oftentimes have no choice but to go to the corner store that unfortunately sells all these things, that is literally killing so many people and decreasing their lives by so much. And so the fact that a company like Mars has the gall to just try and do this corporate feminism bullshit or whatever they're doing while they're literally killing people, and of course this is a whole class and race thing, right? Because particularly in lower income neighborhoods where there is less access to fresh foods, a lot of people are stuck on all these canned goods. And so that is just one of the things I think that really kind of made it to be like, okay, this is just an example of how you liberalize and like rehabilitate these certain companies so that you lose track of the fact that they are doing this type of shit to people.
I can envision women in their pink pussy hats holding these M&Ms like in selfies. I feel like that is on the horizon. And that is so incredibly sad. But the good thing about Skittles killing people is it's not killing just women. So we have to think about it that way. It's also killing men.
Oh, well, if it's killing men, then maybe we're okay with it. I'm just kidding.
Yes. Now we're talking.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, they're equal opportunity killers. They don't discriminate. They kill anybody, Yeah. So I guess, should be all right with that. So yeah, I must say though, I did go through a phase where I really loved Skittles. Like as a kid, I'd be at like the movie theater. Remember those rainbow commercials where they were just like
to gold.
Yeah, as like a 10-year-old, that's so nice. Huh?
Yeah.
Starburst.
When I went to Ireland, like they actually get very offended if you bring up leprechauns and stuff like that. Just so everyone knows. Well, you've been to Ireland. They also, did you find that they actually don't support four-leaf clovers either? They don't believe in that. That's an Americanized thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
All I know is I almost brought my 1916 shirt to when I was in Northern Ireland to a restaurant.
The one I bought you.
So yeah, don't bring any 1916 Easter Rebellion shirts to Northern Ireland restaurant or pub. That's not going to go over well.
It's going to be a brawl right in a pub.
You're going to bring back the troubles just like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Pints
man.
on your head. Easily. What?
But,
read some of the comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Snork Y2K says,
"Oh, hi Snork."
Hello, Snork. Says Starburst is even worse.
Is it?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I just had one of those the other day.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually have a box of them in my office. I haven't had them in a while, but that's good to know. I'll look into that. Starburst.
I'm not a candy person. I'm really not like a candy person. A chocolate person, cool, but like a fruity candy, like sweet tart. Nah, I'm sweet enough. I don't need that shit.
No more adding more sweetness. All while people of all stripes are protesting Netanyahu.
What's that?
All while people of all stripes are protesting Netanyahu. I guess that was Hakeem Jeffries, maybe in regards to the Hakeem Jeffries speech, I want to say. Yeah, well, he says, notice he skipped the Palestinians, though. It's funny. I said to Joy, too, I was like, he doesn't talk about, he doesn't say we're cis, we're trans, too. He, skips the trans people, too. So, he definitely skipped some identities.
He didn't throw in disabled people or
he didn't
anything
throw in
either.
disabled people. He didn't
Senior
throw in people who can't.
citizens.
He didn't throw in blind people. He didn't throw in. Yeah, he missed out. So fuck Hakeem. I think he needs to.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Hakeem actually, we've known about Hakeem for a while because he actually campaigned on stopping so-called progressives. Like that was like his actual thing. That's, what he aimed to do.
Yeah,
and he had like companies trying to do it. So does he not support progressive policy, he literally tries to stop those who do.
Well, and it was pretty funny too. I think I might have said this last show or the show before, but there was when Cori Bush when she was so the night of her second election, right? It looked like Clay, who she who was the incumbent at the time, was going to beat her.
Yes.
But then she managed to pull ahead. It was like almost miraculous. All of a sudden,
it was last minute.
It did not even look like it was going to be close at first. And I guess maybe the areas they counted last went overwhelmingly for her. Yeah. And so, but he actually tweeted out something where it was like, yeah, Clay won, before it was even called. And then he had to delete the tweet because it was just, yeah. So I remember that was actually a good night. When I had a little bit more faith that that vote was really going to make a difference.
Yeah. I was hype about her getting elected. It took about a week for me to realize because Cori, the thing was, she was an activist. That's the thing. You're like, okay, she legit was an activist. She's been homeless. She's been without health care while in the hospital with COVID. Like, she's been through some shit. She's been a single mom. Like, she's gone through real people's shit. And that's why I was like, yo, we have to get her elected.
Absolutely.
Because I was completely naive, and it took her maybe a week. Her flip was quicker than anyone else. It was so quick.
And one of the things she said too, I remember when she first got elected, was that on weekends she was going to go back to protesting. She was like, I will keep protesting on weekends. And I really have not heard about her protesting at all. So that just shows right there. I mean, and I really appreciated her saying that, because she was giving a distinct data point, right? Where it was like, okay, holding yourself accountable to protesting every weekend. I didn't hold you to that. I didn't expect you to do that, but you literally said that. And now you're not doing that. What happened?
Oh, like when she came to our Medicare for All march in DC, she showed up, took a few photos, and left like that. Oh, okay.
I guess that counts as protesting. I don't know. I don't know. We all have our own way of protesting, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
We all find our own way in a different way. You know. So yeah, she showed up. Cool.
That's true.
Yeah. So here we go. So this is, I thought, was really, really cool. So this guy who moved in the Los Altos Hills, California, described as a wealthy Silicon Valley town. Comcast, I guess, the previous people who had lived in that house didn't get Comcast, and he needed a broadband. And so after a year, they were saying for like a year, okay, yeah, we can get you Wi-Fi, but we're gonna have to like expand our wires or whatnot out there, right? Without telling him that the cost would be $210,000. All right. So what this guy did was he basically there had been a nonprofit in the area that had been it was like a co-op nonprofit, and he ended up just joining that nonprofit and expanding it to other houses, I believe. And so let me just show you who these people are that he ended up getting instead of Comcast.
First of all, how badass. How badass. That is so, like, that is pure ingenuity, and that is pure, I mean, I wouldn't have the skill for that. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start. I have no fucking clue. So that dude is just a fucking badass.
And I mean, yeah, what a better way, because I mean, Comcast, I'm sure, is literally the only company that you probably have available, because that's what they do. It's literally just one company, and then they're able to charge such a large amount of prices. But
that's
what
all
I really
I
found, I have another one, but yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same sort of monopoly. So it's called Los Altos Hills. Get rid of this. Los Altos Hills Community Fiber. This is their website. They are a community-owned and operated internet fiber association. So he ended up joining them. And one of the things that I find really cool about this is in the LAHCF model, we charge monthly service fees to cover the cost of the system and build financial reserves for future upgrades. Our not-for-profit organization is made up of members of our community who own and benefit from the service. Rather than shareholders who seek financial profits from operating the service, members of the LAHCF Association collectively determine service pricing, operating policies, and infrastructure decisions. LAHCF offers the most advanced gigabyte speed broadband service available to your home. Our platform will enable the community to choose the best video, TV, voice, telephone, and smart home services on an individual basis, rather than being limited to specific service bundles offered by the broadband service provider. That's why we believe you have more choice and control with LAHCF. Can you imagine, like, members of the association collectively determining what the service pricing should be? I mean, this is like, hell yeah.
Oh, and speaking of co-ops, last Thursday, I want you guys to check out the interview I did last Thursday on my channel, Savage Joy Marie Man, on Rockfinner YouTube. I had a gentleman, Jamie. He just published his third book on labor and unions. He's a sociology professor. And we had an excellent discussion about co-ops and unions and history and sociological perspective of, protesting and revolution. And, it was great. It was wonderful. I definitely plan to have him back. But yeah, he just published his third book on these exact topics. So check out that show. I really enjoyed it.
Heck yeah. So, the last topic we were going to do is, give me 1 second to bring it up. Perhaps I'm daft.
Oh,
that's where it's.
Okay, so I just prefaced my post with perhaps I'm daft. I don't understand. I've been anti-imperialist for years. I don't understand this. I don't. Andrew, if you just want to read this.
Yeah.
So essentially, Russia offered a ceasefire to Ukraine and they declined it. But if you're scared of a country bombing the fuck out of you, why do you decline a ceasefire? I don't understand this. What am I missing? Is it strategic? I just don't understand.
I think we need to get like a general to come on here and explain this to us,
Seriously.
So here's a look ahead and roundup of key developments from this past week. At NATO headquarters on Tuesday, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, and European Council President Charles Michel will sign the third joint declaration on NATO-EU cooperation. Human Rights Watch will issue its annual human rights report Friday, including a chapter on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Also on Friday, UN Security Council is scheduled to discuss the conflict in Ukraine. So last week, Putin declared a 36-hour ceasefire for 6 and 7 when many Orthodox Christians celebrate Christmas, but the weekend saw no break in violence across Ukraine. The Ukrainian military announced that Russia fired 9 rockets and conducted 3 airstrikes on Saturday, and claimed that Russia carried out 40 shelling attacks across Ukraine, killing and wounding civilians. The U.S. announced more than $3.75 billion in new military assistance to Ukraine. So they're saying, okay, so Ukraine is military saying that Russia continued to fire 9 rockets and conducted 3 airstrikes on Saturday. And that was before the ceasefire? Okay, got it. Russia said 89 of its soldiers were killed in a Ukrainian attack on New Year's Day and blamed them for using cell phones, which gave away their location. Okay. Yeah, do you want me to keep reading?
No, you don't have to. I'm just I'm curious. I'm genuinely not understanding why you would decline that. The only possible thing I can think of is that they were trepidatious. If they accepted a ceasefire, all of a sudden Russia would use that and then just bomb the fuck out of them. But they could remain stationed in case that happened or whatever. I just don't understand. It just makes no fucking sense to me. Oh, I digress. But here's the thing. Did you guys see? I saw on Twitter an article that fucking Kevin McCarthy wants to cut the Ukraine budget by $86 billion. Dude,
Yeah.
what?
Well, that was maybe that was one of the concessions I heard, right? That 80s that there was some asks from some of the far right Republicans to cut the military budget by like $86 billion.
Well, I mean, this is one of those things where I'm like, I don't give a fuck who does it. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a good
that's
thing.
still crumbs, but that's more. That's cutting it more than we cut it in a long ass time.
I will just give the $83 billion the next day back. But
yeah, of course.
Like the fact that, there's somebody who wants to cut it, even though he's a garbage person, like it was just shocking to see an article where someone actually wanted to cut that budget.
Yeah. And this is, Joey is bringing up a good point. That was a concession. The ask was a budget cut across the board. Exactly. One of the other budget cuts I think that's worth noting is that they were trying to cut welfare, right? So
they were.
And being clear of who they are, they're awful. And that one thing, $86 billion in defense budgets, or whatever you want to call it, probably the best thing they've ever done or asked for, unfortunately.
Seriously. I also saw a news blurb. I haven't been able to dig in because it was right when we were going to go live. But in Syria, over 100,000 people are losing their assistance, their welfare, whatever you want to call it, today.
Gross.
That's fucking scary. Really scary. Because we're already treating them like shit, as we have been for years. So now countless Syrians are going to have no assistance when I'm sure they don't get much to begin with.
And that's going to cause more radicalism to happen in Syria. And then the cycle repeats. And then we're fighting terrorism again. The U.S. is fighting terrorism again. And, we got to stay there because of terrorism. And, it's a never-ending cycle. It's awful.
Never ending. And, here's the thing, too. Like, Netanyahu is back in power. And, the U.S. is... despite the fact that many of the U.S. representatives and presidents have met and taken money from Netanyahu, the United States is very much like anti-Bibi because he's a criminal and, just a horrible person. But with him back in power, why haven't we cut our Israel budget? Like, why are we still giving them gajillions of dollars when he is back in power? Because they don't care. They don't care. They know he's an awful person. He's an ally, even as an awful person.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If only we actually had a say in what goes on, if only, I know it's kind of utopian, but if, politicians actually did listen to we the people as was intended, that'd be pretty interesting. Definitely utopian.
Hell yeah. It's like if we had to say in how much we get charged for our utilities, right? When it comes to internet, broadband, we have a say in that. Oh man, democracy is such a beautiful thing.
Yes. Definitely. Well, we always end on a funny because people always, we talk about some heavy stuff sometimes, even though we do throw in some sarcasm and stuff. But we always like to end on a funny meme. So I don't know what the ages of everyone in the audience is, but I think a lot of you may get this meme.
I mean, I was saying I actually experienced this last year. You can still experience it. It's not 100% dated.
Oh, it's an experience.
It is definitely an experience. All right. So here it is. I'm starting to think our parents really didn't care what happened to us back in the day. And here we got, remember the gravity that just sticks you to the wall?
I used to go upside down. I used to go sideways. Oh, yeah. And then it would like slow down and you'd fall, you know?
Yeah.
It was, but then we got the ones that were, see, these are indoor. We had these ones and they turn out the lights and it's like strobes and shit. But then now they have the ones that are cages and they're outside and they're way scarier. And they sound like they're going to break all the time. But yeah, like our parents were like, here, go on that. Like it was, yeah, these 80s rides, especially set up with carnivals that like, you know, travel every few days and they're not set up in a sturdy way. Dude, yeah. we were hardcore.
But they still exist. There are still carnivals that happen, you know, during it's
they
and it's
do.
still the same, it's still the same sus amount, and you know, we still go.
Yeah, they haven't done any better at their construction of them at
absolutely
all.
Not. Absolutely not. It's all part of the fun, though. You know, you're like, okay,
yeah.
No one has died yet today, so you know what? Chances are it's not going to be me.
Did you Google though? I don't know if that's true.
I'm just saying, where I go, nobody has died that day.
So the one carnival across the United States with thousands.
The one I go to. What is the death rate at those carnivals?
Oh my God, I do not want to know.
That is what
I got stuck at the top of a roller coaster once and had to walk down.
You had to walk down.
Yeah, the plank. You know how there's a plank on the side of it when you go up the hill thing. There's like that wooden plank on the side. I had to fucking walk down that, and there was no like handlebars or railing. So I was like, fuck this. And I just went down on my butt and just like slid. And yes, I did go back on it 2 days later.
Hell yeah. Because it's like, it's not going to happen a second time.
Right?
It'll work the second time.
And I was like, it's not like it stopped midair. Like it stopped before it like went down the loop. So I got fucking lucky.
Oh, you know what? You know what movie I watched recently? I rewatched again.
Final Destination.
No, Big. The movie Big.
Oh my God.
Where he's at the carnival and then he asks the Zoltor, he says, I wish I were big because he didn't get on that ride with that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Some 80s movies. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I were alive in the 80s movies because there were some good movies. Huh?
Before Tom Hanks was painfully annoying.
Yeah. This was like, what was he in his 20s at this point? Like,
oh, yeah. Maybe 20, 21. Very young.
He's been in so many things. Well,
what do you have coming up?
I don't really have too much coming up right now. Yeah. Other than the fact that I've been thinking a lot, and I really do not understand why some people think Michael Gambon was a better Dumbledore than Richard Harris. Like, Richard Harris was the GOAT, R.I.P. He was so much better of a Dumbledore. That's all. That's just a passionate opinion I have about that.
Well, I mean, I've never seen a Dumbledore. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I will agree with you.
Cool.
Now I have to Google what the fuck a Dumbledore is.
Dumbledore, Albus Dumbledore, Harry Potter.
What's that? Oh, okay. I don't watch that.
Okay.
I've never read a Harry Potter or watched a Harry Potter.
All right. Well,
fuck that.
That's Dumbledore.
I don't support witchcraft.
Okay, Christian.
If I want such thing, I'll burst into flames. I just know it. Yeah, so coming up, I have some pretty exciting guests. Ooh. I am having Steven Donziger back. Yay.
Donziger, yes, round 2.
Yes. And I am having my dear friend Marianne Williamson back. And I have a couple other people that I'm not going to announce yet, but I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. If you don't, please do. If you do, I asked Brianna Joy Gray to do another show. I haven't done a show with her since Force the Vote 2 years ago. I tweeted at her to do another show with me. She follows me. I know she saw it. She didn't respond, even though it had a lot of retweets and quote tweets tagging her. If you want to see it, post on Twitter and say, hey, Bree, Joy wants to do a show with you about Force the Vote.
Super chatter. Be like, why are you ignoring Joy?
Yeah.
Except
and also, I challenged Sam Cedar to discuss Force the Vote with me without hurling pejoratives and to actually have honest discourse about the strategy. So basically, if you'd like to retweet that and add him, go for it. I know he won't do it because he has no balls. But I'd like to draw more attention to it so people realize he has no balls. That's exciting. So yes, but other than that, just follow my Twitter so you can see what shows I have coming up. And yes, please subscribe, Joy Marie Man or Savage Joy Marie Man, Rockfin, and YouTube. YouTube took away a lot of my followers for some reason. I have no fucking clue why. So please, even if you were subscribed, double check to make sure you still are. And I also have a Patreon for as little as $3 a month, which just helps me with my streaming fees and my equipment and all that fun stuff. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time at 9:30 p.m. Eastern next Monday. So
same time, same bat channel. All right.
Yes.
See ya.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Much love.